What's up, guys? And so, Ahsoka episode 4 has landed on Disney Plus, and I gotta say, what an episode of this was. This truly felt like Star Wars, especially with those lightsaber fights, especially more on the villain, and especially with a huge reveal at the end, which was a perfect way to end this episode, and it really sets up for what's to come for the rest of the show, especially for Ahsoka as well. So that's what I'm doing for you guys in this video. It's a breaking down that insane ending that we got at the end of this episode, and to talk about for what's coming for the rest of the series, especially for the villain and how this all connects as well. And so if you're new here, don't let this be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so don't miss all future videos of this. So let's get into it. Now, I gotta say, going into this episode, especially with a shorter runtime again, but even though I thought it was good to take another side quest, but no, I mean this truly felt like Star Wars, and even with these awesome fights that went down, and it was I just enjoy every bit of it, especially as this made every Rebels and Clone Wars fans really happy, especially with all the action that went down in this episode. And now, with this episode, I really like how it starts off. That we see Ahsoka and Sabine as we last left them, as they're in the forest, trying to get away from Shin, and then we later see them encounter them, and even as we see them getting off of the ship, that they're still trying to find Thrawn and even to find Ezra as well, and then we see them encounter Shin and the droid, and then we see the most epic lightsaber fights, and that's between Shin and Sabine and the droid versus Ahsoka, and even with these lightsaber fights, I totally feel like Star Wars. I realized that old fashioned Star Wars action, and I mean this episode totally felt like Star Wars, and just with the lightsaber fights and everything that down that was truly amazing. As we see a Bill and Skull and Ahsoka getting into a lightsaber duel, and even with Ahsoka getting a hold of the map, and then we see them fight, and right before Bill is about to defeat Ahsoka, and then we see Sabine trying to confront Bill and telling him to step away, and with Ahsoka telling her to destroy the map, and even this with plans of fighting Thrawn, and then you with Bill and Skull that immediately defeats Ahsoka off the cliff, and we see Sabine and Bill and Skull just fighting, and even when it's still we have no idea where Ahsoka has been taken after that. And next we see Sabine being taken a prisoner by Shin and Balin, and even what that's silly, he is trying to reactivate the map and or to find Thrawn, and just like that, he engages in the hyperdrive, and just like that, even when their plans are back on to find Thrawn, and just we even see Jason say that he has a bad feeling about it. So I mean that whatever for what the story for the rest of the show, I think it's something epic about to go down. And now let's talk about the crazy and insane ending. I totally made Star Wars fans happy, and that is we see Ahsoka after her fall, and that she is landed in a world between worlds, and that's what we saw in Rebels season 4. And then we hear the voice of the one and only Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker, and then we hear him say these words to Ahsoka, and calling her out by calling her Snips, and even with Ahsoka's nickname Snips. And it's also from the Clone Wars, for when she was called out by that because she was snippy to her superiors. and with Ahsoka that she will always like snap back at him, and then we see her turn around and we see Anakin Skywalker, and even with this like he's exactly from Revenge of the Sith, and even from like what we can tell like that this is like Hayden Christensen's actual face. It's not like a de-aged, but it sort of looks like his normal self in the present day, and even even got like Hayden Christensen back as Anakin Skywalker. And now, especially with this, and now this raises like a ton of questions as for what's next, and even with Ahsoka and Anakin meeting in live action, and this totally means that like they're in a world between worlds, and that's where we saw Ezra in Rebels season 4, and even that connects with the Force, and even the like periods of time, especially from the past, and just even so, I mean I am loving this as we're seeing Anakin and Ahsoka in live action, and which totally minutes, and hopefully and that we could see some flashbacks with Anakin from the Clone Wars, but even with them with them meeting in live action like this, especially with just like a perfect way to end this episode. Even for what I can predict for what's next, especially with Anakin and Ahsoka, meaning is that this definitely means that so that she is definitely going to tell Anakin that they're searching for Thrawn, and that he is still alive, even looking for Ezra, and even with Anakin as we go into help Ahsoka train, and so I hope that we'll get to see interact, especially within the next couple episodes. So yeah, a lot of us about to go down, especially with Anakin and Ahsoka meeting for the first time in live action. And yeah, with my final thoughts on this, I thought this was a great episode. Again, like a great lightsaber action and some great fights. And even with the show that I did just open up something so big, and even that we saw a world between worlds as we saw in Rebels, and even as we got an Anakin Skywalker cameo by Hayden Christensen, and that actually made us Star Wars fans so happy. And even with him seeing him in live action, even with Anakin and Ahsoka meeting in live action for the first time, and that was definitely the cherry on top and a perfect way to end this episode. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and a lot of stuff is about to go down, and I just can't wait for it all. And so that is gonna be it for first video. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Know what your thoughts on Ahsoka episode 4, and give me a rating to 1 out of 10. You can just be a like and subscribe and turn on notification bell for future videos, and also follow my social, which are linked down below. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.